the career you are going to choose, the career you are going to start in future, in every sphere of life, in every sphere. You need the consequences, you need the theories related to this chapter. So this is very much important chapter. So today class number ta ami video te diye dibo na, ha ঠিক করে দাও, হ্যাঁ class number ta ami video te diye dibo কত number class. So today we are going to start the chapter that is আসলে বলো ভিডিও অন করছি আমি Capital Investment Appraisal. ঠান্ডায় হাত জমে গেছে, তা লেখা তো দেখি ভালো হইতেছে। নরমালি আজে বাজে লেখা হবে। Capital Investment Appraisal. The word appraisal, synonym of appraisal is evaluation. Capital, suppose you have huge amount of surplus money for any and you have an intention to invest this in somewhere else. There are so many options. So in this chapter we try to find out capital investment appraisal. We try to find out how we can evaluate different investment proposal in front of us, so that we can find out the most suitable or most feasible one for me. The normal scenario is, in choosing any kinds of investment proposal, we always focus whether the proposal or whether the investment proposal provide me any kinds of extra. That means return is there. And if there are two or more proposals, in that case we try to find out which proposal will provide me more. That means in this case we actually, whatever the discussion we are going to do for furthermore, in every cases we try to find out or we try to ensure the best use of our per unit of investment. Suppose, as for example, I have $10 to invest. Suppose I have $10 to invest. There are two projects. One project will provide me $10 and another project will provide me $20. For example purpose. So $1 is proposed me $1 extra for each $1 investment, whereas the another investment is proposed me to provide $2 extra for each unit of investment. Our task is to make sure the best possible one, and the best possible one means that is we have to make sure the best use of our investment. Our investment is best use. That's why we will discuss several kinds of financial methods here. Clear? That's why the name is Capital Investment Appraisal. Now the thing is, in doing this Capital Investment Appraisal, today the first part 1, for your betterment or for your better understanding, I will divide this total chapter into two different parts. One is part 1 and next class will be part 2. Today we will discuss interest. বাংলায় যেটাকে আমরা কি বলি সুদ, right? This interest are two kinds. One is simple interest, another is compound interest. Compound interest. Suppose we are investing $100. Suppose, as for example, we are investing $100. And interest rate suppose 10%. Now the thing is, this 10% interest can be provided simple basis or even compounded basis. First of all, we need to make sure what we mean by this. Simple interest. When you are calculating simple interest, you have to charge the interest rate each and every year on a single sum of amount which is previously invested. That means 10% will be charged on investment is how much? $100. $10% করলে কত আসে? $10. So each and every year there will be $10 interest. That means we are charging percentage of interest on a single amount of investment which is previously invested. Clear? That's why, as a for example, year 1, its interest will be $10, 10% of 100. Year 2, its interest will be $10, $10, $10, $10. So if you want to sum up these two, you will get 2 years total interest in the case of simple interest rate. So we can make some rules, make some formula. The formula is capital I, that is interest earned. আমি লিখলাম না, শুধু মুখে বলছি, হ্যাঁ, কারণ তোমরা এগুলো শীট দিয়ে আছে. So you can go through the lecture sheet that I have already provided. I means interest earned, how much interest that you are getting. It will be PIN. PIN means P means principal amount that you have invested, I means rate of interest, and N means number of year it have been. So in this example, our P is $100 into I is 10% means 0.1, and number of year is, suppose as for example 2. That's why it will provide you $20, just like the calculated one. This is simple interest. So if you want to know how much your total sum at the end of 2 years in the case of simple, your investment is already 100 is in the basket. Suppose the investment proposal is a kind of basket. In your basket you have already invested $100 and it accumulated another $20. So end of 2 year it will total $120. Interest plus principal. Clear? So we can find out that by using the formula, that is future value here will be present value in plus I, or P plus PIN. So you can take P as a common, 1 plus IN. So if you put all the values of these symbols, you can get the total sum of amount that we have, that will be in 2 years later. In the case of simple interest. Clear? But when you are talking about compound interest, compound means each and every year the interest is compounded. Each and every year the interest is compounded, and the symbol is used in the case of example. Suppose as for example, you have invested $100 in a account. The account will provide you 10% interest, 10% interest compounded. These words should be there. But in the case of simple interest, the compounded word will not be there. But in the case of compounded, 10% interest will be compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, maybe several terms that can be used. So in the case of compound interest, each and every year you are charging a percentage of interest, on the total sum of investment that P in that year. The thing is, first of all, suppose as for example you invested $100. In 1 year, interest is 10% of 100, that is $10. So 1 year later your total amount will be 110. In the case of second year, 10% interest will be same. The amount of interest charged will be the same, 10% each and every year. But here 10% will be charged not $100, rather $110. That means each and every year you are charging a percentage of interest on the total sum of interest and sum that was in the previous year. Previous year কত ছিল? 110. So in second year the total interest will be, here the interest earned rate will be more. এখানে বেশি হবে না, এখানে দেখা যাবে কত আসবে, $11. So that's why this is compounding, sequential. Clear? That's why the word compound is. So we can make a formula. The formula is that is formula is future value. FB means future value. What will be the future value after some specific years? Future value will be present value into 1 plus I to the power n. The n is the symbol n is the number of year or number of compounded number, or you can say the compounded cycle কয়বার round করে ঠিক আছে as for example if the interest is compounded annually, in that case this is the number of year. If the interest is compounded semi-annually, that means each and every year there are 2 cycles or 2 rounds. In that case the number of year into the number of cycle. Clear? It will discuss, we will discuss this later on with different kinds of example. So we can say also future value equal to present value into present value interest factor IN. The thing is, if everything is provided, you can find out the future value by using your calculator. But this is called present value, future value interest factor. This is called future value interest factor. That means you guys will also provide a kind of a standard table. So this amount, or what will be the value of this thing or this part, it can be found out through the standard table. We will discuss later on. এটাকে আমরা কি বলতেছি? Future value interest factor. As for example, you have invested $100 into an account. The account will provide you 10% interest compounded, suppose as for example annually. What will be your future amount after 2 years from now? The example is just like this. Just like this. In that case, your future value will be present value how much? That is your investment. 1 plus I means 0.1, and the number of year, that is after 2 years. What will be the amount? Clear? So it will provide you the expected amount. On the other hand, by using the standard table, you can find out future value interest rate, that is value of this portion. You can directly find out. I means interest rate, N means number of year. আমরা টেবিলটাই দেখব, টেবিলটাই ইন্টারেস্ট রেট দেয়া আছে আর নাম্বার অফ ইয়ার দেয়া আছে। সো আই এখানকার আই হচ্ছে কত 10%, এন হচ্ছে কত 2 ইয়ার্স। এই জন্য এটা একটা সিম্বল ইউজ করলাম, বুঝছেন? So we can find out the value of this portion, future value interest factor, from the standard table if the table is provided. Normally in your example you guys will provide the table. Clear? Now this is future value. মুছে ফেললাম, হ্যাঁ বোঝা গেছে? Discussion clear? Okay. Now we will discuss another important thing, that is we are in this position, future value equal to present value into 1 plus I to the power n. This is our formula. By using this formula we can find out the future value, right? We can change the format of this formula. It is present value equal to future value by 1 plus I to the power n. দেখো করা যায় এটা? করা যায়। এক্সাম্পল খেয়াল করো, এক্সাম্পল সবসময় এক্সাম্পলটা খেয়াল করো। How much you have to invest today? How much you have to invest today at 10% interest compounded annually, so that it will provide you $200 at end of 2 years from now. That means you are provided the future amount. You are also provided the percentage of interest rate. But the fact is, to have or to accumulate that future amount, how much you have to invest today. So you can find out this present value by focusing or by providing all the values. As for example, according to our example, how much I have to invest today to have $200 at end of 2 years. Suppose 10% interest, 0.1, 2. You can find out this. On the other hand, this portion, this is 200 into 1 by 1 plus I to the power n. একই জিনিস না? This is present value into this portion, we can say present value interest factor IN. So either you can use this formula to calculate the amount, or you can use the standard table to find out the things. Okay, this is future value. Sorry, future value. So you can, by using the standard table, you can find out the things. Clear? Okay. So we have discussed what we mean by present value and future value. So up to this level of discussion, we discussed that is future value equal to present value into 1 plus I to the power n, and present value equal to future value divided by 1 plus I to the power n. So we can use this formula to find out the value, required value according to our examples. Now the thing is, now we'll discuss the applications. Application of future value, or you can say আমরা future value না লিখে এটাকে লিখি application of compound interest. Compound interest. That is, now we'll discuss another part, which is the process of applying the compound interest that we have already learned. The interest যেটা শিখলাম, এটার অ্যাপ্লিকেশনটা শিখব। এই অ্যাপ্লিকেশনটাকে বলা হয় annuity. Annuity. What do you mean by this annuity? Annuity বলতে আমরা কি বুঝি? Suppose, as for example, 0, 1, 2, 3. We have made an agreement with the bank. Suppose you made an agreement with the bank, that is each and every year up to 3 years. Each and every year up to 3 years, you will invest $100 in an account. See? When you are investing $100 here, this $100 remain for these 3 years. So what will be the future value after 3 years? You can find out by using the formula. That is, future value here, future value will be 100 into 1 plus I, as for example I. This amount will remain 3 years within the account. So here the N will be 3, right? Then in year 1, you have invested another $100. That means just 0 means the starting always. In this case, we will think 0 means the investment starting years. In year 1, we will invest $100. It will remain 2 years. So this amount future value will be 100 into 1 plus I to the power 2. Right? Then in year 2, you are investing another $100. This will remain 1 year according to your contract. The future value will be 100 into 1 plus I to the power 1. And in third year, you are providing $100. The future value, third year, that means maturity year, right? According to your contract, the third year is the maturity year. So the future value, bank will not provide any extra interest on that last payment or last installment. It will be 100. So if you sum up these all things, if you can make the sum of all these things, that will provide you the total amount that you are getting end of 3 years with your investment as well as some kinds of interest provided by the bank, right? তাহলে এখানে why we are saying this is the application of compound interest কেন বলতেছি this series of compound interest this is another so you can say this is a series right series of compound interest অনেকগুলো compound interest কে আমরা কি করতেছি we are sum of number of compound interest series so that's why we can say this is a series of compound interest right so we can use a formula here the formula is the formula is future value annuity. Now we are talking about annuity. This annuity can be just like two. One is future value annuity, another will be the present value annuity. Future value annuity, the example just we have discussed earlier. That is, each and every year you are investing $100 according to your contract with the bank, right? So what will be the future value? Future value annuity মানে example টা focus করো. You made an agreement with the bank that each and every year you will invest $100 into an account up to 3 years. Up to 3 years. At 10% interest compounded annually, what will be your lump sum amount end of the 3 years? That's why we are saying this application of compound interest. Compound interest কে use করতেছি না আমরা এখানে, কিন্তু এখানে সিরিজ। তাহলে সিরিজ বলতে আমরা ফিউচার ভ্যালুটি কি বলতেছি? অ্যানুইটি তাহলে কি জিনিস? A series of equal periodic payment by you. সিরিজ ছিল না? প্রত্যেক বছর আমরা $100, each and every year we are investing $100, series of equal, and we are providing this amount in a specific time gap, 1 year. That's why this is called a series of equal periodic payment by the customer, where each payment is made after that period. As for example, the thing is, bank will start providing you interest just year after your investment. Suppose the investment you are meeting in year 1, you are getting interest from the second year for that investment, right? That's why the whole thing is a series of equal periodic payment by customer, while each payment interest provided by the bank end of that period. Clear? So it may be either future value annuity or it may be either present value annuity. Future value annuity, example টা খেয়াল করো. You made an agreement with the bank to provide $100 each and every year up to 3 years. কে পেমেন্ট করতেছে? তুমি পে করতেছো. At 10% interest compounded annually, what will be your future lump sum amount end of 3 years? 10 বছর পর, 3 বছর পর total amount টা কত হবে? So we can use a formula which is called future value, which is future value annuity. Future value annuity. The formula is R into 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. You guys have to just memorize this. Here the R means the amount of installment each and every year that you are providing to the bank. I means amount of interest that the bank is providing to you. N means number of installment. Each and every year you are providing one installment, right? Number of installment. So by using this formula, so according to our example, the amount will be $100. 1 plus I means suppose 10%, 0.1, 3 years, 0.1. So by calculating it, using your calculator, you can find out the value. On the other hand, there is a table, standard table, which is called future value annuity table. That means which will provide you the value of this portion. So we can use the formula, that is future value annuity equal to amount of installment into future value interest factor annuity IM. Initially it was future value interest factor, now it is future value interest factor annuity. Clear? So by using the standard table you can find out the value and multiply with the amount of installment you can find out the future value annuity. But the thing is, by reading the example you need to make yourself clear whether it is future value annuity or whether it is present value annuity. So focus on the example that I am going to provide. Example এটা বোঝা গেছে? এইবার আসো প্রেজেন্ট ভ্যালু annuity এক্সাম্পলটাকে শুনুন তারপর আমরা আলোচনা করি। You need $100 each and every year. You need $100 each and every year for survival. Yes, for example, for survival up to 5 years from now. That means each and every year you need $100. It will start from the year 1. Think. কার দরকার? তোমার দরকার। That means you are not providing any installment. তুমি installment দিচ্ছ না। Rather, you are wanting that amount of installment from somewhere else. Who will provide you? The bank. At 10% interest compounded annually. How much you have to invest today so that that amount will provide you $100 each and every year up to 5 years or 3 years. তাহলে এখানে কে ইনভেস্ট করতেছিল? তুমি। আর এখানে you are investing a lump sum amount today. It will provide you, the bank actually mixing some sort of interest with the amount, and then bank will provide you as installment basis for a limited period. তাহলে ইনস্টলমেন্টটা কে ফেরত দিচ্ছে? ব্যাংক ফেরত দিচ্ছে। সো এই জিনিসটা you have to make yourself clear when you are going through any kinds of example, whether it is future value annuity or whether it is present value annuity. এটা ওখানে বলে দেওয়া থাকে না। You need to find yourself. Clear? তাহলে এক্সাম্পল আছে যেটা বলছিলাম যে how much you have to invest today at 10% interest compounded annually so that the bank will provide you $100 each and every year up to 3 years and the installment will start from the year 1. তাহলে আজকে আমি কত এখানে একটা মজার জিনিস হচ্ছে your requirement is getting $100 each and every year up to 3 years. How much? 100 $300. It is normal that you have to invest less than $100 today, less than $300 today. As for example, you are investing $210, bank is providing interest on that, and then end of the year, each and every year, bank is providing you 100 as a whole, total 300. That means you are getting some extra interest with your investment. Clear? So we can use the formula that is present value annuity equal to R into 1 minus 1 plus I to the power minus N divided by I. On the other hand, you can use the standard table, present value interest factor annuity. Normally you guys will be providing this present value interest factor annuity table. In your exam hall, SSC exam, normally you guys will be provided two tables. One is present value interest factor annuity table and another is present value interest factor table. Future value নিয়ে ওরা করবা বুঝা গেছে? So you can say it is damn sure that you guys will be provided any kinds of example depending on present value, not the future value. But we have to make ourselves clear about each part, right? So this is present value annuity. Example क्या আছে? আমি আবার একটু বলি ক্লিয়ার করার জন্য। Future value annuity. You are making an agreement with a bank that each and every year you will invest $100 for 3 years. you are investing. At 10% interest, what will be your future value after 3 years from now? Future value. You are requiring $100 each and every year up to 3 years. At 10% interest compounded annually, how much lump sum you have to invest today? Obviously, 300 থেকে কম হবে. Obviously, it is must that the total amount required will be obviously less than 300 because bank will provide the extra interest. Clear? মুছে ফেললাম, হ্যাঁ? Now, কত বাজে? 11:20 আজকে থাক, আমাকে যেতে হবে। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। নেক্সট ক্লাস উইল ডিসকাস দ্য লেট